Welcome to the South Metro Scoop podcast. I'm your host, Brady, and today we got a very special first guest for our business owner interview. It's Rob Satrom, owner of Feedbackwrench, a web design and marketing agency based here in Lakeville, joining us. And I thought Rob would be the perfect first business owner guest to have because he is my current boss and really my mentor who has taught me everything about what I'm doing marketing wise for small businesses. So why don't you just go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about Feedbackwrench too?
Well, Brady, you're doing some really cool stuff. Genuinely, I grew up in the South Metro. I am a Lakeville kid, Rosemount kid, and I always kind of laugh. My dad moved from Fargo in 1986. He brought my brother and I and my mom from Fargo down to Eagan, and then we moved to Valley Park, the Bermuda Triangle of not Apple Valley, not Lakeville, not Rosemount, but kind of in the middle. And so we grew up there from 1987 till 1998, and then we moved to Lakeville. I played football, basketball, and threw the shot put and discus. That's one of the things Brady and I have in common. Brady was also a lineman, but you were at Rosemount, right?
Yeah, I was in Rosemount.
Yeah, so I'm a larger man, and I'm blessed to have. I have four kids. I have an amazing wife. I've got kind of in that teenage thing. I got two teenage girls. I got a 10-year-old girl and then a little son, and then we've got this little business started about a decade ago, and before that, for a couple of years, I had an accounting firm. So, been living off of quote unquote what I kill as an entrepreneur for 12 years, 10 years type of deal. And I am a South Metro, born and raised Lakeville, graduated Lakeville High School in 2000. I was a Panther, right? And it was before the high school split. My wife, she's 4 years younger than me, which is good for me, like okay for her type of deal. And she went to Lakeville as well. We didn't know each other then because of the age difference. Then my sister-in-law went to Lakeville. My brother went to Lakeville, and I love Rosemount, love Prior Lake, all these other schools too, but I'm definitely a South Metro guy. So when you've been sharing all this stuff on the Lakeville Loop pages, South Metro Loop pages, it's been really fun to see what our city council is talking about, what all these developments are looking at. And then we help all these business owners with their marketing. We help overly busy, confused small businesses that don't have the charisma to make great videos, don't know how to make great messaging and websites and whatnot. We come in as a team. We got a little team of six of us that come in, make websites, make ads, make videos, social content, and just help them maximize their sales. So there's the quick survey of who I am, I guess.
So yeah, thanks for that. And specifically for our businesses here in the South Metro, how do we specifically come and help them kind of fulfill their sales funnel and like stuff like that?
Yeah. So every now my I don't want to overcomplicate this. We come in and we help you clarify your messaging, help you identify who your customer is, what are the main problems that they have, what is valuable to them, and then we craft together an approach, like a strategy and a set of messaging along the lines of what's called the story brand marketing or this story brand architecture with messaging. And the idea is words and ideas can kind of pick the lock of the minds of people if you do it right. And the whole first shift that we do with a business is to remind them that they're not the hero in this story, their customer is. And when the small business owner realizes that they're a guide to help that customer get what they want, all of a sudden we can really start doing some amazing things. So I have an extensive background in sales. I have an extensive background and expertise in sales. But it's from pretty humble roots. Served tables at the Lakeville Perkins for 2 years. Worked at the Best Buy in Burnsville in the store selling computers for 7 or 8 years. Did 1 year as a stint with a website company. Actually, took a little break and then did a couple years at Best Buy in Apple Valley, which is gone, which just makes me sad because I used to ride my bike there in the 90s and look at PC games, and now it's an O'Reilly Auto Parts. It's like, come on. And so what's fun about the food industry that I did and the working at Best Buy is I probably sold 10,000 plus interactions at Best Buy, which was just like a scientific realm for me to go in and just try stuff, right? I got so much experience. When I worked at Perkins, I got to help people go from stingy to generous. Like when you're serving tables, some people want a little bit of service, some people want a lot of service. And My job was to work with them in such a way that kind of brought them from stingy to generous. And then at Best Buy, I learned how to be a guide to help anybody, whether you're an 80-year-old that just needs some simple computing stuff, or if you're a guy like me that wants the coolest, or you're sending your kid off to college and you need a good laptop. I sold computers from 2004 till 2010. So you didn't ask me about this. You asked, how do we help small businesses? And I'm sharing a little bit of, for us, it's all about, we come alongside a business owner and we help them understand their clients. We help them really focus in on their messaging, help them build a case in a very simple, concise manner that will move people, so that when people interact with your website, your YouTube channel, your Facebook ads, your Facebook posts, your Instagram reels, your TikTok, whatever that is, when they interact with that, it's actually going to move them. It's going to show that you're worthy of trust. It's going to show that you understand their problems that they have, and that you compel them to share that you're trying to deliver some real benefits. And so we have this thing. So we build websites. We set up Facebook ads, Google ads, Instagram ads, TikTok, YouTube ads, so you can pay to get some front end activity. And then we help you with video and photo and sharing that on social media. So we come in as kind of an outsourced marketing team to help you fulfill your sales potential. And yeah, we've been doing it, working out of the basements of my houses. I lived in Elko for a couple of years, and then we've been in Lakeville here. So the whole lower level is dedicated to our team. We got a couple of video guys. We got Brady, who's like everything. We have Ben, a writer, and Lexi, our project manager. My wife Heather, and Mary, and then David. He's in California. We don't. He's with us in heart, but we got a cool little team here. We work out of our office, and we're running around all sorts of contractors, builders, custom home builders, landscaping contractors. And then if you search on YouTube about how to start an accounting firm, you'll bump into like 400 videos I've made on YouTube. And so we help a lot of professional services, CPAs, accountants, bookkeepers, work with more businesses. And we kind of have an approach there. So long story short, we help businesses get more sales, maximize their sales, set up marketing that actually wins, and then we service their outsourced team.
Awesome. And if you had to say for the local businesses, like a mom and pop shop or small businesses like Feedback Wrenches, what is one thing that most businesses aren't doing online currently that they should be doing, whether that's getting more sales, getting more followers even, or just creating content?
That's great. The thing that pops up in my head immediately has a little bit to do with digital, but more to do with just running a business. I work with businesses that are at these crux points where they're either trying to really scale and grow, or things are maybe stuck and they need to grow, or they've just started and they have to get more front end activity, meaning they have to confront more people with the opportunity to get their problem solved by you, right? And that could, back in the day, that meant that if you want to grow your business and you're selling insurance, by golly, you got to be dialing for dollars. It used to be that you'd go knock doors if you're doing roofs, and people still do this. You'd go solicit, right? It might be that you send out mailers. What I find is that most people do not understand just how much front end activity that you need in order to get enough meetings, or in order to prospect enough to get enough sales. Ironically, there's a couple different types of businesses we work with. But the thing that happens is, I could go into multiple little rants here, whether it's a builder or a construction company doing remodeling, or if they're, building additions or finishing basements or building decks. We do a ton of folks with that. Or it could be a home services, plumbing, or HVAC company, or it could be somebody that has more of a retail shop that people are going to come in. I think what I've come to understand is that folks just don't understand how much prospecting it's going to take for you to build a flywheel of momentum, in terms of just whether it's digital or not, just selling and prospecting. Then I don't think people understand the power of video right now. And so if there was one tip, it would be that you have to prospect and sell, and you'll want to commit to a little bit of everything right now. We're kind of in this era where you need a great website. It's got to have a great video on it. You got to show your credibility, all the reviews you had, show happy customers to show that you're real. build value. Like there's so much in there. But at its core is that if you get enough front end activity, whether that means you knock doors, you call, you create TikTok videos, you're on LinkedIn, you're prospect, if you get enough front end activity, everything else comes. It is the leading indicator that creates success. It creates sales. It creates revenue. Revenue drives profit. Hopefully, your operations are really good. But I guess what I would always do is encourage people to sit down and think about where they want to get to in terms of their profit and then their revenue, and then figure out how many sales do you need, and then run the simple dirty math, quick dirty math about, well, okay, how many conversations would I have to have, whether it's a phone call or if it's a Facebook ad? How much front end activity do I need to get enough meetings, to get enough sales, to get enough profit? Start doing some of that math, just top level, and then you can start doing some really cool stuff digitally then to implement that. That's a not complete answer, but not exactly what you asked me. Sorry, Brady.
Oh, it's all good. Yeah, one of my definite shortcomings with starting South Metro Scoop over the past year, can't believe it's already been a year now since we started last September. Definitely the sales and prospecting end of it. Didn't really realize how much kind of outreach you have to do to actually get the people coming in as I would have expected. But I mean, with my social media videos, those have been doing great as of recent, and that is definitely bringing some more eyes on my stuff and like the blogs and articles and all that kind of short form. Now the podcast too, short form and now the podcast. But yeah, that's great. And
Let me share a little story real quick. So the thing that popped in my head first when you asked what should they be doing digitally, that's like a solution. One problem that I see, I was just at a small Lakeville-based business. I'm not going to say who it was. It was actually it's happened twice recently, but one of them, I brought my daughters in to a place that makes food. It's a little bit smaller, and it's a dessert place. And when we got in there, like there was only two other customers in front of me. And this was my introduction. I have four children and I spend stupid amounts of money on food. If you can get me to think that you're a good place to go to for my kids and that we can get a good, whatever it is, we like it, that it'll get done somewhat quickly, you'll probably earn a portion of my wallet over the next year, right? Because I'm a busy entrepreneur, busy dad of four, and we're driving around and we're stopping places. So this place has an opportunity to just wow me, right? And I'm not that difficult. And when I got in there, there was two people in front of us, there's two employees, and the two people in front of us, it just took forever to order. And when the person was taking their order, they were just kind of dead in the face. And I could tell, I get the feeling, I don't know if they were family members helping or if it was the actual owners or if these were employees. I don't know. But this is really hard. We got up there and they have a little bit of a big menu. It's an odd small business, right? Not a lot of pictures. There's some pictures of stuff. There's a lot of menu options, which is a little bit confusing. And when I get up there, like the person just doesn't even say hi. It's like, hey, or it was like, hey, what would you like? I know that that little space is probably paying 2,500 bucks a month in just rent. I know that those two people being there, that's another 3 to 4 grand a month per person. And you have an opportunity to win me over. I'm not saying that what they did was bad, but man, there was no passion. It was so hard to see that the owner, who I bet is excited about their business, who's thrilled to introduce their tastes to people like me, that see a family of six walk in ready to spend 120 bucks on food. That's like jackpot. We got that. And yet, when I got up there, the vision and the culture of what was going on was just so lackluster. It was hard. And so one of the things that I find that most business owners are struggling with, I think particularly since COVID, is to get your folks excited to serve people, to somehow find a way to show the little things, things like a smile, a greeting. You know, when you walk in, hey, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for coming in. The line's right here. You should take a look up here. Our special's this. I mean, that took me 4 seconds. And if she would have done that the second I walked in, yeah, it might have interrupted her first conversation, but I'd have been like, okay, I know what's going on, right? Instead, we kind of walked around, didn't know where the line was. I have a friend who's a Chick-fil-A operator in Burnsville. His name is Andrew. And if you look at what Chick-fil-A does, which I have a podcast with Andrew, you should go check that out too on the Feedbackwrench podcast. But Andrew and Chick-fil-A, for the most part, Chick-fil-A takes folks that are paid very similarly to other restaurants. It's not like other fast food restaurants are paying their people way more, but for some reason, there's a culture there of service, right? My pleasure. It's not that you walked in and I'm bothered that I have to do something now. They try to have this attitude of it's my pleasure to serve you. And so I guess what I'm getting at is every business owner, if they it's so easy for the business owner to do this, so hard to do the training and the attitudinal stuff over time so that when your team, your third tier employee is engaging with somebody, like there's some excitement there. There's some appreciation that the customers walked in, maybe even a little knowledge of like, by the way, we've been in the red until we hit. Did you know that we have to sell this many just to cover the simple expenses? And we don't get there till day 26 of the month. Like, I don't know that you have to teach everybody that. I learned that at Best Buy being in a store, but I guess my comment is find ways to just continuously empower your people to appreciate customers, to focus on customer experience, to find little things to warm up the conversation, and to wow people. Like just there's simple stuff to blow their socks off. And I might even add one of the small things I notice is that many young workers or many people who are in a business, they struggle to multitask, right? And so we're in an era where there's not a lot of staff in a store. We're in an era where everybody's struggling to hire people and everything's expensive. So there's not as many people around. And one of the things that I learned at Best Buy is if you're one of the folks that are engaging and helping customers, if you can learn the art of helping 1 to 7 people at a time, you will make your life so much easier. You will help customers love the experience. So it could look like while you're talking to somebody and someone comes up to you, you might even go, hey, hold on 2 seconds. Hey, I'm kind of busy here, but what is it that you need help with? Can I help you quick or can I point you in a direction? And what that does is now you basically created 2 lines instead of 1 line. And they're just asking something simple. I find myself in these situations all the time with small businesses. So when you can cross train your people to be able to multitask a little bit and really just focus on the customer experience. Like if you have conversations about what's it like when you walk into our store, nobody acknowledges us, and it takes 4 minutes for you to process an order. That's a long time, right? Or 5 minutes or 8 minutes. I know that what I've learned at Chick-fil-A is they are so laser focused on making sure that they take orders swiftly, that the time in the drive through is as short as possible. Um, and so we can learn from that to just think, how do you get those simple things? So that's what it popped up in my head because it's a local Lakeville business that their food was tasty. It was exciting, but it was just like, man, I was finally here and now I'm just disinterested. I don't really want to go back, but they could have won my heart. They could have made me like them by just showing, and they're just, it's free stuff. It's things you train your people, you cultivate in your folks. It's hard when you got to, this was a Saturday. So this employee was probably there for 6 to 10 hours by themselves. It was a gorgeous day out. They're sitting inside of this shop. There's 9,000 reasons why their cup isn't full and why they're kind of bummed to be inside. But you have an opportunity. So find ways to just win that customer experience. That's what first popped up in my head, more than digital marketing, right? And even into the digital, let's shine the light on them. But I don't know. Thoughts, Brady? What else you
Yeah.
learned?
Yeah, one of the biggest parts about working with you so far these past 2 or 3 years is definitely the customer service. We want to make sure that the customer is feeling heard, whether they're coming to us with just a simple question about their ads or a more in-depth kind of conversation that needs to be happening about the strategy behind the ads, or coming and recording new video for them, or kind of helping them out any other kind of way to fill their sales funnel, like we've been talking about.
Yeah. What have you learned? It'd be interesting to hear your thought. Maybe I could talk on it too. But folks always come to you and they want something, right? So this is one of the things I think you've heard me teach you: pump the brakes. So when a customer's like, will you put this section on our website? Hey, I need you to add this page. Hey, will you make this ad for me? It's very akin to when I used to work at Best Buy. For good or bad, Best Buy would run basically a lead loss laptop ad on the front Sunday newspaper. There'd be a super cheap laptop back in 2005 with a price that's just like, oh, I can get a laptop for 400 bucks. This was back in the day. It was kind of weird. But if people would come in, they're like, I want this laptop, don't argue with me. Well, they've decided that their problem that they need solved, the solution is a laptop. And by golly, I like a cheap one. And why would that be good? Because they don't like computers. Well, if I'd pump the brakes and ask them a little bit more and just tell them straight up, hey, these guys run this so that you come in here. This might be an okay laptop, but just so you know, it's actually really bad for people that aren't patient with their computers. It is very slow. It's actually very slow. And oh, by the way, they trick you into this. They don't come with Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. This is before Google Docs. So it's like if you didn't do something there, you probably got to spend another $100 to get your Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, just so you know. If I didn't pump the brakes and tell them that, I would see them 2 days later returning the laptop mad that it didn't come with Word. Like it used to be, you couldn't open a Word doc on a computer unless you spent $100. It's just terrible. And so if I didn't bring that up, I would have unhappy customers. They thought if I just did what they wanted, they'd actually be unhappy. Another thing that you'll find is that if you don't pump the brakes and find out if they have these other problems and share a little bit of a vision of a future, this is what we end up doing. You lose out. So it'd be interesting for you to hear, like, what have you learned around when customers come to us and we just do this thing. What have you learned about pumping the brakes, asking more questions? You mentioned strategy, but I don't know what thoughts or stories or examples or things have popped up for you in that.
Yeah, mine's pretty similar to you with the Best Buy. It'd be I would do the thing, I would do the one task they wanted me to do, and then they would come back saying, "Oh, it's not working. Why is it not working?" Well, we never really stopped and kind of talked about why you wanted to do that. Why did you want to change that? And we didn't get a full, complete understanding about how we could actually fix the problem, the root of the problem, instead of just putting a band-aid over it. Instead of, you got a deep cut in your arm, you're obviously not going to put a band-aid over it. You got to stitch it up. You got to apply the medication and all that kind of stuff to it.
It's almost like, yeah, the customer has a deep cut on their arm. They're like, hey, do you have anything to wipe up blood? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
here, wipe the blood up. Is like, well, why are you bleeding? Oh, you have an owie. Let's look at that owie. But usually for us, it's more of, it's also interesting. So again, we probably do between 5 and 20 websites and marketing setups a month. Like we do we get 166 5-star reviews and we do a decent amount of volume. We try to be a good value for small businesses. We're not super expensive. We're not super cheap. We're trying to make sure it's a win-win for everybody. And so what that means is we interact with a lot of folks, and it is mind-boggling how different people use technology, interact with technology, talk about technology. You know, hilariously, most of our customers are pretty level-headed people that aren't. They're actually not even on social media because they're well adapted, socially wise people that don't obsess about this stuff. No shot at people that love social media. I use it. But a lot of times they'll come to us for things that they want. And it's like, I want a new tab on the top. Oh, you want a new page. Oh, well, it's that you have a new location or a new service. Oh, well, who's that core customer? Oh, what's the value proposition for that? What are the problems you're solving? How are you different than the competitors? What's the main thing that they're stuck in? And we start talking about this. All of a sudden, it's like, it's not that you needed a new tab, you have a new location. That we need to set up all sorts of stuff that you might not be thinking about. So it's not that we're ever trying to overcomplicate things, but I'm always amazed that if anybody's listening to this, pump the brakes, ask more questions. Don't get in the way of giving them what they want, but there's a nice art about, well, tell me, okay, what are we trying to do here? Just ask the point blank questions. Why do you want to do this? What are you trying to accomplish? How are you going to know that that's successful? How are you going to measure this in the future? That's another thing. Like a lot of folks, they're gonna have you do something, and then yeah, if it doesn't work, 4 months later, they'll come to you. Well, it doesn't work. How do you know it doesn't work? Well, I don't know. I don't get sales. Oh, you don't have tracking in a form, and we actually can't tell the story behind it. So there's a this is a good long rant. Um, but there's a lot that goes into it. So whatever business you're in, I think when you learn how to ask great clarifying questions to uncover more problems, they come to you wanting one thing. They think that's a solution to one problem, but there's probably five or six other problems they don't even know about. And there's probably a future or a vision, a preferable future that they're trying to attain, that we owe it to them to not only find out what that future is, how are they going to use this, what are the lifestyle benefits they want. It's also probably very valuable to share. Oh, by the way, you're not my only customer that does this. Here's some other visions of, it could be possible you do this or that or this or that. Um, and when you do that, you're able to provide better solutions to people, be more helpful, win the heart of your client more. They deserve that from their guide. Like if you're a business owner, or if you're just in business at all, or if you work at a store, or if you're whatever you're doing, right? If you just take it on yourself to say, I want to be really good at this. I want to help solve problems and add value really well. And the only way you can do that is use great questions, probe and analyze to uncover problems that exist, problems that they know about and don't, and find out where they're trying to head to, and then share other ideas that they might try to get to and in things. So
Mhm. Just a small pivot. I know you mostly talked about, or you mostly answered the question, but what is the first kind of process you go through when someone fills out the contact form on the website? Because I know just from because I sit outside of your office, I'm working in the next room over. I hear most of the meetings. 70% of them, it's people who are working for a big accounting firm, one of the big four, and they're talking about maybe starting their own CPA firm, maybe accounting firm, maybe just doing the bookkeeping on the side, and they won't need to learn more about that. And like, how would you explain the kind of process taking them through it?
yeah, so it's interesting. People, there's a million marketers out there. We're a dime a dozen. I learned that. I got a full ride scholarship to go play football for 1 year at a Division I school, Northern Illinois University. PJ Fleck, the Gopher coach, was the captain when I was there, or was about to be the captain. But when I got there, I see when I was at Lakeville, I was 6'5", 300 pounds, super strong. I was like kind of big fish in a mid-sized pond. I got there and I was a medium fish in a very big pond. And so marketers are the same way. So the advice I give is probably not any greater than what you're going to hear from a lot of folks. However, people have a lot of assumptions about things and they struggle. So at the core of what I always start with for folks is, if they have a business, I've done this twice. I've started a business from scratch. So not only that, they were both B2B businesses where I got to meet lots and lots of business owners. And when I had the accounting firm, I learned how to really analyze not just their business name and what they wanted, but their finances, their net profits, their gross revenue, their taxes. Are they an S corp versus a Schedule C? Are they maximized? So what's fun is, like, I have this approach where there's so much we can ask to probe and analyze. But when someone calls me um, as an accountant, first off, they've watched a bunch of videos, but there's a couple of things that I'm always trying to do. Number one, I'm a big believer in, similarly to what I just said, that first off, I'm trying to make sure that they understand selling to business owners rather than individuals is a much better business. And I learned this from a guy. I spent 1 year at Thrivent Financial, and there was a coach, and his coaching around selling insurance was, go start working with businesses because the business wallet is much bigger. The problems are much bigger. There's more opportunity to add value, and they work from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. and not on nights and weekends. And I'm like, okay. And so with an accountant, that is true. But what is easy to catch if you're an accountant and you're fishing for business, it's these little sunfish individual tax returns. Like Brady needs his taxes done. Brady's got a pretty simple tax situation. Or your friend or family, or even just a family of four that are W-2, that's not a big problem. That customer wants to spend as little as possible. They they need help nights and weekends. They actually want all their questions answered, and they don't want to pay for it. Whereas a business owner who has payroll, employees, bookkeeping, accounting, aggressive tax planning, and higher stakes, bigger problems, and a bigger potential payoff, they don't mind paying for things. In fact, so that's the first thing is I always encourage them, first off, good is the enemy of great in this business. Good are even wealthy individuals that are W-2. They don't have the things that you're looking for to attract high paying clients, whereas business is. So that's the first thing. If you get so busy doing individuals, you'll be too busy to add value in the way you need to for a business, which is the second thing. So, okay, you're going to work with businesses. So I'm getting their head nodding in our conversation. I'm being a guide to them to say, look, this is the way. Like you should stop with this nonsense and head in this direction. And it's because I did it. I started our old accounting firm, Nuance Financial Tax and Accounting, based out of Lakeville, owned by Nick Meester. I started that because when I was selling insurance to these business owners and stuff, I found out they need this help. And so the second thing is what kind of help does a business owner need? They need more value. They need more. Number one, they need pristine audit proof bookkeeping. And they probably shouldn't have Patty part-timer doing it because she's not an accountant. So I always tell these folks, I think you should do this outsourced accounting model. Here's what it is. It's where you clean up the books, you do the books every month, you set up a tax plan, you engage throughout the year to make sure they're identifying and implementing every tax reduction strategy possible. You're doing it for them. You're checking in with them. You're giving them reports. And then before the end of the year, you're going to make sure that they deploy their cash in a really tax advantage way. Should you buy new trucks? Should you buy a new skid steer? Is it time for you to pay off some debt? Do you want to buy an office next year? What is it that you want to do? And so I'm guiding them to implement this model, and then they'll do the tax return. So that model I call the outsourced accounting model. There's some other CFO or fractional CFO, some people call it. I just call it adding more value. So number one, I get them to look at selling to businesses. Number two, I want them to say, hey, I like this model, right? And then what we get into, and I'm trying to teach them more than anything. Selling's easy in this. I can sell you a website, sell you ads, sell you the whole thing. But I also then kind of talk to them about, I want to be frank, this is not an easy business. See, most marketers that talk to an accountant and a bookkeeper or a CPA, they they're kind of full of crap. They tell them like, all we got to do is set up this funnel and you're going to be swimming in clients. Well, funnel might work for you, but can we be honest that business owners are about the most cynical people ever because they know what's real and they know how to be effective and and can we admit I as a business owner probably get 30 cold emails and 30 calls a day promising me the world. I go to Instagram and it's ad after ad after ad promising me the world. And so we become numb to all the messages that we face all the time. Plus, as a business owner, there's a bunch of things about accounting. Like number one, I don't really enjoy accounting as a subject matter. Number two, I actually think my current accountant's doing all right. Number three, accounting's boring. You can't take a picture of it. It's not interesting. By the way, I kind of think my current guy's doing it all right. You know what? I think I'm all right. I'm good. Go away, right? But then I bring you my books at the end of the year to do my taxes. This accountant looks at him like, these financials are like a 3 out of 10. These are terrible. Like I can't even sign this tax return because it's trash. And business owners are like, well, everything's fine. No, it's not. So I try to share with them that like this is a hard business. It's a lot more like selling financial products. It is a financial product, but I always laugh, when I sold insurance, nobody waltzes or stumbles their way into buying a long-term disability insurance where you buy a like you buy this expensive protection just in case you get hit in the head and can't work. Um, Nobody just happenstances their way into that. An insurance agent needs to build connection with them, uncover if the needs are there, share with them what could potentially happen, find out is that important to you, and then actually have a good premium and a good product and all this stuff. And I think in the accounting world, it's pretty similar if you actually want to add value. So I'm trying to get them to understand that, like, look, I'm going to show you a path forward to get this. And so I always start there because I want to be really frank about what this business is like and what it's not because most marketers and most gurus selling to this group, they're kind of like the old multi-level marketing scammers, right? Amway, it's okay if you do this stuff, but LuLaRoe leggings, Amway, all these like medical things, whatever it is that you're selling, they sell you the idea of entrepreneurship and working for yourself and everything's a tax write-off. They get you all excited about financial freedom and payoff. And then we have a way, all you got to do is buy the $5,000 distributor pack and then you can go, right? Well, most marketers are like, selling entrepreneurship, selling working for yourself. Wouldn't you love to save time? Wouldn't you love if you had a million clients? And then you step in and it's, oh, you have this funnel template from ClickFunnels or from Go High Level or something like that, that it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And if it does work, it's cheap tax return clients. So, anyways, I kind of bring up the problem. I want them to know it. And then we do websites, we do ads, we help them create content. We actually help them do videos and video ads and stuff. But that's only one part of kind of a 4-step, 5-step process that we have. So I always tell, and I'll shut up here. I'm talking way too. I've been drinking coffee and go in here, Brady. But if you're trying to start this and you want to get enough activity to actually get meetings, because that's the next thing I do is I coach them on what should your meeting structure and an analysis and do a proposal. How do you do that really well? And then we get into, all right, now you know what you got to do. You got to go get people to have a meeting with you. You need to then do an analysis on their tax returns and their accounting to find out how much you can save them in taxes, what their accounting is, what their problems are, and then create a proposal and then get them to sign up, right? And in order to do that, you need front end activity, you need prospecting activity, and that can look like all sorts of things. Now, I've kind of boiled it down to these 4 things. Number one, you should certainly have a nice digital marketing package, a great website with a video sales letter with messaging that actually talks to them, not about you, but about them. You should have a little Google ad. So when someone searches bookkeeper near me, you show up, and accountant near me, and then a little retargeting ad. If they've been on your website, show up in their Facebook, Instagram, YouTube feed for a long time. Just persist in front of them because people need a lot of touches now. So that'd be the first thing I would do. The other thing I would do is I would make sure I have a Facebook, Instagram video reel ad going that really frames up the problem, you as the solution and the result. So that's number one. Number two, if I really needed clients, I'd be making videos. Grab my phone. You have a portal right here to show up in front of somebody sitting in their bed in their underwear, ready to buy from you. It's a portal. You teleport your way there. You can take your best sales conversations and make them happen. You can make it so all your friends and family for sure know what you do and for sure know the value props. And so I would make videos like crazy. That's the second thing I recommend, and we help people with, is create ideas for videos, scripts for videos, and then deploy them and then share them everywhere. And we can help you with that. The third thing is you do need to go get in front of people. You should call, you should network, you should go visit every BNI group and collect all the cards and have a one-on-one with all of them. You should actually go door to door to a business park and find out who the business owners are. Go shake their hands, go meet them, go to a new construction neighborhood and go meet all the dudes with a truck. You see a truck that drives by you with a big wrap on it, doggone it, write it down and call them. So I'm coaching them on this because I want them to actually succeed. I'm not in the business of selling marketing services. I'm in the business of helping them maximize their sales potential, transforming their business, and actually heading upward and forward because I want to have a great success story 5 years from now, 2 years from now, 1 year from now. The last thing is that when business B2B folks like an accountant spend time interviewing their clients on podcasts, sharing what they're learning from their clients, lead discussions through video interviews and put them on the internet, all of a sudden you're showing off your credibility, you're showing off your client. Lift up your clients, shine the light on them, and share their Facebook posts. And when you do that, you'll create great relationships, you'll create a referral network. Meanwhile, you want to get a lot of Google reviews, a lot of SEO. So that's a big sloppy answer. If I had my my things in front of me, my cards in front of me, I would share that what I'm trying to do is that focus on businesses, add value. Here's the strategy and tactical way to do that. We need to do an analysis, have a chip on your shoulder to get your paws on the tax return and the accounting and bookkeeping of a business owner. Find out how they can save taxes. Find out how you can secure their business. Find out how you can make them more profitable, more scalable. Do that, and then sell to them. And then in order to get that going, you want to build a flywheel of front end activity. Flywheel is that at first, your first efforts inside of a flywheel of an engine, it's a big heavy wheel inside of an engine, but it builds momentum and it prevents stalls. You build momentum by doing small things really well every day, over and over and over and over and over. And eventually, what happens, you can't be stopped. And those things are for sure digital marketing, for sure making videos, for sure making front end calls and activities, investing in the relationships of your clients, and then getting reviews and SEO and stuff. You do those things, you're going to win. You're going to get sales no matter what you're doing. And for an accountant, that's very true. But you need help. So we have tools to help you at each stage. We're even coming out where we help host the podcast. We help shine the light on your clients. But thoughts, Brady?
Yeah, it's all great. I would say probably just broadly over the last decade that you've been a business owner with the accounting firm before Feedbackwrench, how has being a business owner changed you as a person when it comes to, being a father and whatnot?
How has it changed me? Um, you know, the first thing is I have learned you have to create separation. I have to turn it off at 5 or 6. I have a temptation in my life. I like my business. I like what I do. In the same way that you could become obsessed about a video game or become so obsessed with fishing, you abandon your children and your wife and you don't attend to your family first. I very much can do that. If it was up to me, I would like, I can just, and so for the last 14 years, that's a temptation. I obsess about it. It consumes me. The other thing that happens if I'm not careful, I open up my email. There's always one client that's going through something hard. You do enough volume in business, you have enough customers, and you solve big enough problems. Doggone it, you're gonna have people like, and so there's always one client kind of sitting in my craw that's like, God, I wish that problem wasn't there. And that can derail me. I can distinctly remember a time we were with our friends and family at a friend's cabin and we were getting in the hot tub, this giant, cool hot tub together with my kids, and everybody was laughing. And right before I got in the hot tub, I looked at my phone and a client was just madder than heck. And I got that email and it ruined like the next 4 hours for me. I was faking it, but it was in my head. So as a parent and as a husband, that I have to learn how to solve that. I work with Heather. So Heather, my wife, we work in the business together. So there's also a number of things that you have to be careful of. And there's been times where we've done it really well. There's times where I haven't done it really well. I think the hardest thing for me is I get going so hard in my brain that, and acting as the executive, decisions need to be made. Excellence is what we shoot for every time. I'm pretty patient with you guys, but there's always 15. Like I'm a critical person. I can see 15 things all the time that need to change. And so if I'm not careful, I apply that towards Heather when it seeps in outside of the work hours, right? And that's super unhelpful. It creates tension, and so I've had to turn from that. Um, it's also created a lot of freedom. Like we have more money, we have a bigger house, we have more momentum going. Try to give a lot of money away. I'm a Christian, so for me, my faith is huge. We go to Eagle Brook Church in Apple Valley, and I've been a part of that since 2005, actually. And so we live a pretty simple life. So when you're a business owner, that can consume a lot of your time and energy. I work more than everyone I know, probably. There's a lot of people that work a lot of hours, but there were times where I was working like a dog. Everybody does that, but I had to. And so there's stuff I don't do right now that other people do. Like we don't take a lot of vacations. Um, we live a pretty simple life. We go to church on Sunday or Saturday. We then go to my parents' house and we enjoy time together with family. Sunday, every other Sunday, I volunteer at my church and I teach the preschool kids. I love it. Wednesday nights, my kids go to church, and they I also volunteer there with sixth, seventh grade boys, which is like I'm a small group leader. The toddlers are easier than the sixth grade boys. And so I basically what I've done in our life, and so what being a business owner does is you very much have to, if you think of your time, your energy, and your money, there's that prioritization kind of vision that they have, or imagine you have a cylinder and that's your life, and you have tennis balls, pebbles, and sand. Well, the idea would be you put your tennis balls in first, the big objects, the 80-20 rules. They put the most important things in there, like your marriage, time with God, time with your spouse, time with your kids. Those are my first three things, right? So I put those in first. Those tennis balls are in there. Then there are other big things that you put in there: work, exercise, and then you put in the pebbles that are pretty important, and then you pour in everything else and that'll fill around it. But if you pour in the sand first, all the nonsense, then you can't put the balls in. The point is something's gonna give. And as a business owner and entrepreneur, you really need to prioritize some stuff, and you have to recognize how the business will turn you hard. It'll turn you cynical, critical, it'll turn you greedy quickly. It will vie for your mind all the time. And I think that's why, if you're not careful, I see a lot of marriages get blown up when they're an entrepreneur. A lot of people, I know a lot of business owners that cannot get married because they have interpersonal problems and they get divorced. And it's because they've allowed the business to seep into their heart, the greed, the self-focus, and then you justify that because I have to keep the ship afloat. Well, if I don't do this, who's not, there's this thing, this rugged reliance that you have to do, independence, the American rugged independence that people talk about. When you're an entrepreneur, like you must be effective. You must get sales. I have to feed my family and I'm going out into the woods. If I don't get a deer or a rabbit, they don't eat tonight. And so what happens is you will justify a ton of bad interpersonal behavior, unwise thoughts and actions, uh, because you have to, and that's dangerous. So it's funny. I'm sharing all these things that I found are dangerous or things you have to be on the lookout for. Um, on the other side, this business, it's fun. Like I love our clients. What's fun is we get to work with the people we like. You know, we're at a size where most of our business owners, like, we decide to work together because, yeah, the utility's there, but guess what? There's a connection there, and that's fun. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. I love my team. I love each and every one of you, like love and like, and so that's fun. I mean, there's a whole conversation about you guys come into our house. My kids are here. My kids know you. My kids ask about you guys all the time. They notice when you're here, when you're not, and you guys are all kind to them, and we feel safe. You guys are good people, and so there's a lot there too. I don't know. What are the curiosities or thoughts you have? There's a long rant about it.
Yeah, it's definitely more complicated than someone, who just works a 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 or whatever. They just come in, clock in, do their time, go on their hour, 30-minute lunch break, and then clock out for the day and don't have to worry about work. They can go watch TV, watch Netflix, go work out, whatever. Then just have to wake up tomorrow and go back to work, but it's kind of on your mind all the time.
Yeah. When you're staring down payroll, I know that we have between a 20 and a 60,000 a month monster we have to feed. And so the other thing is I'm also the core salesperson for our organization. And most business owners, the owner tends to be that as well. Not always, but often. And so that carries a weight that is heavy. And you can have ultra success and have that slip away. There's times where there's really only been two times where the money has gotten really tight, where it's like, okay, Lord, we're going to need some help. We got to figure this out. But what's fun is if you keep the activities going that drive that, and you work on your business as much as you work in your business, it'll come. But there's certainly, it can impact yourself as a father. That's the other thing, because your business is easy to obsess about. It's just like a video game. Like, to me, this is like a video game to me. I love it. Like, I feel like I'm like in an RPG, and my intellect is increased, and oh, look at all our credibility. We got all the reviews, and oh, by the way, I've had all these interviews and YouTube videos doing this. And your kids just need you to just be present. Like, I think one of the biggest things that parents nowadays in 2025, 6, our phones are vying for our minds and our hearts. Like, I have the crack habit. I mean, this thing shows me my money I'm making. It shows me my leads, shows me my customers that are upset with me. This thing is a portal of ADD for everybody. Try being a business owner. This thing is like, do I get to pay the rent today? Are we going bankrupt? And so, but all of us have this little twitch where every 2 minutes we check our phone to see if there's something there. Business owners going to have that even worse. Then you have the worries. Then you have the things you're excited about. Then you have the everyday crap where, one of your employees has a thing that they need earmarked in their payroll, or you have the camera dropped and won't work, or whatever it is. It's like down to like, oh, I forgot the teleprompter back home. You got all this stuff that vies for your heart and mind outside of the 9 to 5, outside of the 8 to 5 or 7 to 5 or whatever you're going to do. Meanwhile, your kids just want you to look them in the eyes and be with them and talk with them and hear them, even when they're annoying. And so I think business owners, again, they too often wreck their marriages because they don't prioritize time, money, and energy with their spouse. They're also not self-aware to go to war at their selfish tendencies, and you really have to work at that. Now, again, I'm a Christian, that I believe inside of me is this monster that is that can show up, and I'm trying to make sure that one dies, and that good Rob is here, right? Maybe you're the same way, maybe you're not, but I think it's the same thing as a parent, that this stuff vies for you. You got to spend time with your kids, be interested with your kids, get them off the screen, get you off the screen, or sit around a TV and watch a show together. It's better than you guys all in Smeagol and looking at it. And then the other thing is that you can, again, if I'm not careful, I get harsh. This is just in my nature, anyways. It served me well when I played football. I could get harsh and just smash people. Get in the weight room and use your aggression out there, but there's definitely like this harshness and kind of intensity that I have about me, which serves me, but there's a dark side. And I've found that, like, on Friday, so it's Friday today, we're gonna go to Costco with my kids. And when I put all 4 of my squirrely kids and they're crabby and tired from a whole week of school, I'm all intense because I've been thinking about business all day. I mean, it's easy to lose your temper. It's easy to say things that you regret. It's easy to be critical of your kids or just want escapism. If I could just get quiet, rather than like patiently just being with your children. So that's stuff that, I think business owners are going to struggle with this more than your typical employee because of what you said. 9 to 5, you clock in, you clock out, you shut it off. It doesn't matter. Like, if you even went away from the organization stays firm and goes, which is why over time as business owners, we want to get ourselves out of the business. It's just that I'm in a teenage phase where it's not like you guys are doing most of the work now, but I'm still a linchpin in a lot of things. But don't cheat your kids, don't cheat your wife. And then read the Bible. Like, I don't mean to just push my faith on people. Read one chapter of Proverbs every day, even if you're not a Christian. Because when you read that, you realize that there's a reason why this book persists. It's not just because Jews are following the Old Testament and Christians do the Old Testament and the New Testament. It's not just because of that. There is unreal truths in there. And there's a reason why Jesus, not just because he died and rose again, but there is a way to live that, even if you think it's a joke, there's utility in it. And so it's interesting, everything from like forgiving to serving your wife and giving up yourself, blah, 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 all this stuff. And so for me, it's my number one priority is my relationship with God, spending time with God every day, tuning myself to that and getting rid of my old bad habits. Number two is Heather. The best gift I can give to my kids is not an inheritance. In fact, the inheritance might screw them up. I mean, how many people do we know get rich and their life goes bonkers?
Mm.
I think it's much more valuable to give my kids a good marriage. That's hard. Not everybody has that, and there's no criticism if you can't do that, if you haven't done that, but give up your own needs for your marriage. Like, quit being selfish. Your kids deserve it. You'll get better if you do this. Like, if you die to yourself and raise your spouse up above yourself, all of a sudden you'll realize you have built character into you that will be useful for everything else. And then it's, be part of something important. I'm part of my church. I think be part of something important, and then get your health in line, get your profession in line, and then everything else comes. Then you go play World of Warcraft. No, then you go and do whatever hobbies you want, go fishing or whatever. So I just know as an entrepreneur, you have to be rigid about that because there's less margin for error during certain periods. Then when you get it all figured out, then it's like I can go to Florida all the time and have two houses and three houses and all that stuff. So
Right, yeah. So, where can our listeners find more about Feedbackwrench, whether they're a small business owner or thinking about starting their business and just kind of need some coaching?
yeah, go to feedbackwrench.com. Feedbackwrench.com. I always laugh when people are asked that question. They go, "Well, go to www." Stop it. Go to You can go to www or just feedbackwrench.com. Go to feedbackwrench.com and check us out. Go look at our case studies. Go look at who we've helped. Go look at our work. We're super proud. We actually have a little bit of the cobbler's kids have no shoes. Cobblers are the people that make shoes, right? And so the website people have a lot of work to put up on their website. We've got probably 50 additional case studies and websites that we have to get up there, but and go reach out to any of our clients. Like, we'd encourage you, go call them and see what's going on. I do a free consultation where I'm also shifting into, we have some additional services that we do that are more around social media. And then also I serve as more of an operational CFO to a degree. I don't even want to use CFO, but there are things that you can do between your sales and your accounting that will start to give you reports that are much more helpful. And accountants don't know it, and business owners don't know it. And there's stuff that we can do there. And quite frankly, look at your business and figure out, are you set to win and grow? And so when it comes to startup folks, I'll probably have a course sometime here. We're moving so fast. I do have a course for accountants that you can find on our website, but head to feedbackwrench.com. Check us out on YouTube. That's kind of where we live. Admittedly, we've been so positively busy from what we've had that we haven't been creating a ton of content like we should be, but this is a good step in the right direction. And Lakeville Loop, man, just spend time on Lakeville Loop and see what Brady's actually doing the good work of getting interesting, good news about the South Metro, not just Lakeville, but the South Metro. And he's getting into like the meetings with the city councils. He's into the Met Council. He's reading news that nobody else is reading, and you're going to see lots of good stuff. And then I think what's fun is if you're a builder or a realtor or anything like that, you can pay Brady some money, and he'll get you in front of a bunch of people, which is totally worth it and something I would do. So, yeah. Thoughts, Brady? Questions? What
Yeah,
else?
yeah, thanks, Rob. I appreciate all that. And thanks for joining us for the first episode with local business owner. Very thankful to have you on here, taking time out of your week to meet with me for an hour here and talk a little bit about Feedback Wrench. But yeah, feel free to subscribe for the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, really whatever you listen to podcasts on, and YouTube as well, and South Metro Scoop on all social medias.
South Metro Scoop is where the podcast is at, right? That's what you're saying? That's our
Right.
search. All right, perfect. Thanks, Brady. You're awesome.
Yeah. Have a great
Appreciate
day,
you, man.
everyone.
Yep. Take care.